What's good? We back. It's your boy CJ Goodfella back with the Boston Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is. Shout out to the LDBC, the YTBC. And HBO got that card going on with the Polish guy and Danny Jacobs headlining and Jarrell Baby Miller on the undercard versus Johan Dunhaps, whatever the dude's name is. Wilder went the distance winning Povetkin. Wilder knocked him out in the 11th and Povetkin knocked him out in the 6th round later after that. I'm gonna talk about HBO failing to capitalize on another good fight between Daniel Jacobs and Billy Joe Saunders. That's a fight that should have happened after Jacobs and Arias and Saunders and Lemieux. It's a deal they should have did a 2-fight deal with Billy Joe Saunders. And gave him another HBO date to face Danny Jacobs. I know he ended up pricing himself out saying he won $5 million. He believed he gonna get Gennady Golovkin, and that's what he's waiting on. And then he wants to unify all the titles, and he's praying and hoping Golovkin wins. But if Golovkin don't win, then he wasted his time and missed the opportunity versus Danny Jacobs because Canelo Alvarez is not fighting him. Eric Gomez already said, man, want no smoke with Billy Joe Saunders. But it's a fight that HBO should have capitalized on. They should have opened the bank for Billy Joe Saunders, threw some extra on Lemieux, and tell him if you beat Lemieux, you can't get Jacobs or get Canelo. I mean, you can't get Triple G or Canelo next. Then we'll offer you Jacobs, and if you beat Jacobs, we'll promise you a fight with the winner of Canelo and Triple G. Worked it out with Oscar or something like that, or sweeten the deal for him. They need to start digging into that UK pond, that UK basket, because in America they just ain't got the firepower with main events, Golden Boy, and just Eddie Hearn Matchroom USA. It's just not enough fighters to go around to suffice, HBO's platinum standard, in my opinion. HBO is dropping the ball. I think, like I said the other day, I think they should reach out to Anthony Yarde sometime at the end of the year, let Joe Smith Jr. come back, and make Yarde and Joe Smith Jr. kind of offer Anthony Yarde some type of TV deal, and also get Daniel Du Bois. They need to have Frank Warren coming to the fold, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, but Billy Joe Saunders told David Lemieux, you never should have signed with Eddie Hearn. Now you really not getting a fight with me. And Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn, for the U.S. people that don't know, it's like Al Heyman and Top Rank Bob Arum. They just don't work together. It may be even a little bit worse. But it's a fight they should have sit down and made. HBO is suffering from piss poor matchmaking and not having the boxing roster that they need. And obviously they don't want to go back to Al Heyman, begging Al Heyman and Steven Espinoza to come back to HBO, because Steven Espinoza was the HNIC over at HBO before, and Al Heyman was, they was working together with Al Heyman, giving, his fighters. They didn't like the way they, wasted money pouring into Andre Berto being the next U.S. star, and it didn't happen. So, they cut ties with Al Heyman. So they not working with them, and also you already know they was tired of Top Rank's mismatches and in-house fights. So, they banished them from the HBO throne. So pretty much now HBO is, stuck with pretty much nothing. Obviously, they really need to, reach out to Frank Warren and get some of his talent on the HBO telecast. Billy Joe Saunders, Danny Jacobs, that need to happen. It should have happened April 28th in the spring, And obviously, if they wasn't going to make Jamal Charlo, Danny Jacobs, over HBO April 28th, and they're going to have a hard time struggling with opponents. And if they knew Danny Jacobs and Eddie Hearn were trying to do a Spike O'Sullivan or Andy Lee, or, this Sullick guy, I mean, they need to be slapped. You know what I'm saying? HBO is definitely wasting money and pouring it down the drain, with their boxing at the dark without Top Rank and Al Heyman. They are. And if they going to try to redeem themselves without those guys and try to survive without them, in my opinion, it needs to be, with trying to get talent where they can get it at, and that's from the UK. I mean, Frank Warren has Billy Joe Saunders, Daniel Du Bois, and Anthony Yarde, just to name a few. And also, I think he signed Tyson Fury. So you need to be working with those guys, especially if you plan on Anthony Joshua coming to HBO. You can make Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury. You can bridge that gap. And if you work with him and get Eddie and Frank Warren to work together, you can introduce, that European invasion that they're trying to push so hard at HBO. And you get in the creme de la creme of the UK fighters coming over there. You got Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren, working together. And it's better than what you're giving us. It's better than, a Matisse and Kyram and Jorge Linares and Gesta. It's better than Jacobs and whatever card they're trying to pull with him and Big Baby Miller on the card. I mean, it's better than the Kovalev, that ignorant Makat, whatever that dude's name is. They can do better. They can do better without Al and Bob Arum. And they showing the inability to reach out and use their resources. And whoever over there, was it Peter Nielsen over there running HBO boxing? He running into the ground. He doing a piss poor job. And I know he would hate to run back to Al Heyman to top or Bob Arum and show them that they need him. But it's obviously they have a void to fill over there, and they couldn't even make a fight like this. You had Billy Joe Saunders coming to HBO. You probably thought he was going to lose and probably thought David Lemieux was going to win. But anybody with a competent boxing mind that knows Billy Joe Saunders, that he would outbox David Lemieux if he was right, and there was a good chance that he was going to be right coming over to North America. He wasn't going to cut no corners. You should have signed him to a 2 or 3 fight deal with HBO and try to match him with Danny Jacobs and showed a little money. It would have been a great fight. It would have been a fight people would have tuned into. It would have been highly entertaining. But they dropped the ball and they poured all this money into Andrade and Jacobs. And Andrade don't want to fight nobody. They could have poured that money into Billy Joe Saunders. And Billy Joe Saunders probably would have fought Danny Jacobs if they would have did it the right way and promised him a Triple G or Canelo fight on the back end. But they dropped the ball. And HBO business-wise, it sucks on the beat Peter Nelson. We gone.